Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday afternoon, and welcome to the Power of Words author panel. My name is Theresa Davis. This panel is brought to you by the ArtsXchange, which is funded by the City of Atlanta, Fulton County Arts and Culture, and our private funders and donors like you. So please feel free to donate. My guest today is Christopher Michael, a person who I love, an awesome poet. And we're gonna do some chatting this afternoon. How are you, Mr. Michaels?
There's only one of me. There's no S at the end.
There's no S at the end.
Mm-mm.
Can I? But what if I want more than one of you?
Then you say my name twice.
All right, Christopher Michael. Christopher Michael. It's like Candyman, but
There
not
you
as
go.
good. How are you today?
This is the best I've been in a couple weeks.
Okay.
As my voice cracks.
Yeah. So what's been going on? Why is this the best? You've been dealing with a lot
Well,
of.
I've been burning the candle at both ends and in the middle, and I'm not as young as I used to be, so I don't cope as well, and I keep forgetting that. It takes me longer to recover. Last week so I live in Central Texas. I had a show an hour away in Austin, which ended about 11 o'clock. I drive home, get in bed, sleep by 1 o'clock. Then the next day, I'm driving to Houston, which is 3 hours away. I finish in Houston at 1 a.m. and then drive back 3 hours in bed at 4. And I spend the whole day suffering and the entire week trying to recover from my overzealous activity. But when you love
Hey,
something, you make it happen.
well, you are the man that makes it happen. I do believe that. But I'm like, I'm at the part of the pandemic, greedy corporate everybody, where I'm like, do we put gas waivers in our contracts now? Do we be like, okay, I'm driving to you, it's 2 hours away. I'm gonna need $7 a gallon in gas.
I don't do any shows now that don't cover my gas, uh like the feature money plus gas.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, I can't I'm not investing in you like that. You need to invest in me. So if I drive 2 hours for a show, that's like an 8 hour day because I got to spend 4 to 5 hours on the road, 3 hours at your venue to do my 15 to 30 minute set, and then drive back another 3 hours. That's 8 hours. And you want to
Yeah.
give me $100?
And it's interesting. I don't think people think about all that, all the little parts, you know.
Yeah. Not to
'Cause
mention the 22 years of work I put into this craft in order for you to have the show that I'm about to give you.
right, right. And I think that I think that when I first started, and this may be true for you too, I was so like I'm so excited about this thing that I'm doing, and people seem to like it. And I just when I think about all the time and all the labor that went into that, and like
Right.
and no payment from that.
Right. And it's not even, I mean, quiet as it's kept. I mean, I love this enough to do it for free. It's just that you can't make money if I'm not making money. I'm not going to do it for free so you can profit.
Right,
But I do charity events. I do fundraiser events. I'll do
right.
public events. Somebody wants me to do a Juneteenth event. I was like, how much you paying? They was like, well, it's a city event. Okay. It's a
Yeah,
city event. It's going to be held on the Capitol steps or somewhere in the Capitol. Like, boom, I got it. It's Juneteenth. Let me go be black for a couple hours. I can
yeah,
do that, but
yeah,
I'm not coming to your club where the bar's making money, the food sales, and I'm not getting no percentage of that. And you're paying
yeah.
people to come into the door. What's
Right.
that? You pay the
Yeah,
DJ $300.
yeah.
You pay the comedian a couple $1,000s. I'm worth less than that. Let me get off my soapbox.
No, I mean, I think that it's one of the things that I think that we can, as I'm going to call a seasoned poets and performers.
Well, Flavor.
Some of the feedback that we can give back to those who are maybe just starting,
Yeah.
this out and finding their feet. Since the world has opened back up, I've seen your schedule, and you seem extremely busy. And I feel you on that bounce back part. Like, yeah, I'm like, I gotta stretch. Like, I did my first outdoor. I did my first outdoor all day thing yesterday in Little
I
Five
don't do
Points,
outdoors.
and it was stupid hot.
Mm-mm.
And I remember back in the day when I could stand in the stupid hot and like perform and sweat and flirt and all that stuff. And then it was like, I thought I was going to spontaneously combust several times yesterday. And then it was just like, I got, I can't do this.
You
I
know,
need a Bloody Mary and an air conditioner.
in general, I do not do outdoor events. If I'm doing an outdoor event, you have to pay me significantly, or it needs to be cool outside because I just
You're
don't do
black.
well
You're
in the heat.
attracting all the heat.
I live in Texas, but I'm from Ohio. We don't do this. My air conditioner is well maintained.
Right. All right. So let me ask you some questions. So, what projects do you have going on right now, as far as new books coming out or new video projects coming out? What are you working on right now, Mr. Christopher
I'm
Michael?
working on selling this book. This
Okay.
book came out last year, Black Type Poems. My hustle right now is to sell this book along with a couple other books that I have, Demigod, and there's a few other books that I've written. I'm toying with publishing some new books.
Okay.
Uh, I have my haiku book that is on the back burner that I was just contemplating yesterday, finishing that. And I'm soliciting a youth organization to do a Texas Slamthology Volume 2 with nothing but
Okay.
youth poets.
Nice. Okay. So do you self-publish all of your work, or do you go through?
Well, my work is published through 310 Brown Street, 310brownstreet.com. But I do happen to be the founder, the creator of 310 Brown Street. So it is an official publishing company, and they do still publish my work as well.
Okay. Okay. Do you publish other authors?
Reluctantly, honestly, I didn't get into publishing because I wanted to. I got into publishing because people were my intent was to show other people how to publish. And
Right.
their response was, well, just do it for me. Cool. Pay me.
And then they
So
don't
I
want to do that
turned
part.
into a publishing company. Somebody dragged me kicking and screaming into publishing. I didn't want to do a book. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do CDs. You need to hear my work. You can't read it and grasp what I'm really trying to say if you don't hear my fluctuations. And then I was reading my work, or somebody else was, or no, other people were telling me they heard something different that I didn't intend on writing. They heard metaphors and double entendres that I wasn't trying to write. So it occurred to me, I'm like, people will read my work and get different translations of it. I should publish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wound up doing, I said, I'm going to drag some other people into publishing too.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I remember the CD phase and you know, you'll be able to get it better if I'm in person. That part, but
I still got three
um,
CDs left. I got three CDs left if you want them.
right? They in my trunk. They in my backpack. Um, no, but I do remember having the first time having one of my poems published and having someone email me a question about a metaphor that I used in the poem that I didn't realize I made.
Right.
And then seeing a review of one of my poems that's basically about being a latchkey kid
Uh-huh.
and and having someone uh, interpret it or take the meaning as like a love poem of that. I was like, wait, that's not about love. That's about it. Okay. So, and like I said, art is subjective, right?
And you know,
We all,
100 years from now, some college students are going to be reviewing our work. And they're like, well, what the author meant here, and I'll be in my grave talking about bullshit. That's not what I was talking
That's
about.
not what I
Not
meant.
even
I
close.
said what I meant.
Right. Right. Well, this is a deeper meaning for no, I was not talking about the welfare of humanity. I was talking about coochie.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's really interesting. And do you feel like also when you write a poem about a specific theme, like a lot of my work centers around like lately, stop killing black people, just
I,
stop.
you know,
Um, but like to have your poem reinterpreted. So I have this poem that I know for a fact that you're afraid of, called "Cops." You call it the tree poem, um, but
that poem is so heavy. Ooh. That's it's my favorite one. It's my favorite joint.
but what's interesting? So I've done this poem in a slam, and I did it in a slam where it was super heavy. Um, there was a lot of poems about race, and so I do this poem, which is also about race, right? And afterwards, I had this young lady come to me, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad that you allowed us to breathe and you broke up the momentum. And yes, we need to stop killing the trees." And our
Yeah.
mutual friend in Kara was standing next to me at the time, and her mouth just kind of dropped open, like, "What the hell is this person talking about?" But this lady went on for like a full 5 minutes about environmentalism and how she wished more poets wrote about environmentalism.
So I got this poem called "Not All Men," where I talk about I'm talking about men not flushing the toilet, and they just pee, and the urine sits in the urinal. And it is a blatant metaphor for men um, not doing something about rape culture. Like it's a metaphor, but I feel like I spell it out real obvious. It's sarcastic, it's a joke, but I'm talking about rape culture, you contributing to it, and or just not doing something about it, just letting the piss sit in the pipes and let the next person deal with it. And after the show, this guy came up to me. He was like, "Yeah, man, get tired of going to the bathroom and dudes ain't flushing the toilet." And I'm like, and then there was some women right behind me. And as soon as he finished, they turned and was like, "Yo, we got it. It was a great poem." I'm like, "Yeah, old boy just proved my point. Y'all just don't be paying attention. You're dumb. I tried to entertain you and educate you, and clearly I failed."
Well, I mean, I think people hear what they want to hear. And if you're not ready to deal with a topic, then you're not going to hear that topic.
What is
You know
that?
what I mean? If you don't
Is
want,
that cognitive dissonance? Is that what that is? Dissonance?
I think it's a form of cognitive dissonance. I think that
Confirmation bias. No, confirmation bias. That's what I'm thinking of.
say it again.
Confirmation bias. That's what I was really thinking of.
Confirmation bias. I
Yes,
like
you hear
that.
what you want to hear, or you
Yeah.
find things that confirm the lies that you want to believe.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a scary time, and a lot of that's happening on like large scales. So I think that as writers and as people who what I have a friend that calls it edutainment. I hate that
Edutainment.
term, but it's a tongue twister to me. Edutainment? No.
I think Harris once started that. I think he coined that phrase, edutainment.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a song
Um,
called Edutainment.
okay. I'm just like, well, I mean, I think that people legitimately will not meet you unless they're ready to go there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or to have those heavier, harder conversations. Um, so, so what's I know Texas has got a lot of stuff going on right now, and is in the news quite a lot. I've been very frustrated. I'm sure you are as well, being in the field that you work in, and the fact that we I think we work with young people. We try to inspire young people. And what are your thoughts on what's happening? Do you see some changes happening? Like, I know it's a head, brain, heart, bang the head up against the wall kind of thing, but you really always hope that a tragedy does not is not the thing that somebody goes, "Oh wait, maybe we should do something about this," because I feel like we've been saying this forever.
We can keep blaming the politicians for their lack of action, but I am going to put the blame on the people who don't vote them out, who don't who don't storm city hall and be picketing, and the people who don't push as hard as the opposition pushes to get something done. If somebody is not doing the job that you sent them to do, then you get them out of there.
Right.
You go through hell and high water to get them out of there. Period. But the lobbyist dollar is louder than the voice of the people. So the laws are still in place to vote them out. So vote them out and hurry up before they gerrymander and fool you again.
Yeah.
Start
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. 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 It's just, okay. We're not going to talk about that anymore, but we will, because we live in America, or we live in the United States. There we go. Because somebody corrected me the other day when I said, well, that's America. And then they were like, actually, it's the United States, because Canada is also part of this continent. And we are not with that bullshit. And they said
Right.
it
We got
almost
North
like
America
that.
and South America. It's not
Right.
the
It's like,
Americas.
claim your own space. Do not bring us other two people into this.
Right.
These other two countries into this. That's
That's a
y'all's
good
mess.
point. That's a good point. I mean, but they got their drama too, so don't act like y'all don't. No.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I'd
I mean,
still
but
I would still rather live in the U.S.
yeah, but it's interesting. Like when we talk about perspective and where people like I know that America, North America is three different countries. You know what I mean? But when we just like put it all in one bubble like that and say America, um, it's just yeah. So I had thought of it like that. I was like, oh wow, okay, and you're right, and I knew that, and I'm gonna try to fix my language so I don't encapsulate like that anymore.
It's a valid point. It's a valid point.
Yeah. So I would like for you to share some of your work, Mr. Christopher Michael, um, and and give you the floor. And also, I'm going to put your information in the chat so people can buy your book. Would you rather them come to 310 Brown Street proper?
Yes, absolutely. So here's the thing. If you go to 310 Brown Street, then I make more money. If you go to are you still there? Because I lost the what's the name?
Me? Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I like moved the thing off the screen, so now I can't see. Oh, there you go. Boom. We got too much tech over here. So if you buy it from 310 Brown Street, then I get more money. If you buy it from Amazon, then you can leave a 5-star review. So I'll let you call it. When thumbing through the pages of my favorite poetry book, I only penetrate its perimeter with the permanence of pen's ink drop. I dare not erase a word of thought. A mistaken line ejaculated from my bic, birthed from that book, might be dope 9 months from now. But when thumbing through the sheets and spreading the pages of my lady, the tool I choose to use is more comparable to a pencil. A mistaken line left on her loose leaf seems easy to erase. I was included, but it wasn't my body, not truly my decision. And unlike the well-meaning people picketing the clinic, I offered no protest. But like them, I don't believe in abortion until I need it. Physical scars heal, but the blade of fear and doubt penetrates her heart so deep that the man who stands behind her can't help but be wounded too. And I wonder, when preparing yourself for a long day of Planned Parenthood protest and vaginal legislation and womb regulation, did your self-righteous ass eat eggs for breakfast? Just, I'm okay. I'm moving on because I could get on myself. Like, let me listen, brothers. If they can take away women's rights to choose whatever it is they want to choose, then most assuredly they can take away your right to choose. And where life begins is opinion. Nobody has factually stated or come to a consensus, whether it be biblically or scientifically, when human life actually begins. So, why should your opinion be forced on somebody else who disagrees with you? I'm sorry. This is supposed to be poetry. I didn't mean to get off on my notebook. I'm looking for a cuddle buddy. Someone to wrap up with and get lost in. Sit with me and maybe watch TV. Tentacle your touch around all what I am in the glory of acceptance. That's that's not what I meant. I'm looking for a coddle buddy. Someone to wrap me up in my delusions of self indulgence that I keep getting lost in. Someone to sit with me and convince me this minor offense that I'm suffering is the radical religious level oppression I think it is. Accept me without expecting me to grow. Maybe we can, I don't know, trauma bond. Reinforce each other's pain, lingering in the lashes life has dealt, licking wounds, then pulling scabs, lest we forget, never forget. I need someone to diaper up my bullshit. Dollop me with Desitin, because I shouldn't be forced to learn that this ass rash is a red flag to stop sitting in my own piss and shit. I need a coddle coach to remind me it's never okay to be ashamed. No matter what it is I am doing or not doing, I need to believe that my freedom of choice means freedom from feeling consequence. I shouldn't have to suffer the persecution of hurt feelings like this is some pre-emancipation proclamation slave-like suffering. I'm not cotton. Why are you picking on me? Asking me to look inwardly is the kind of microaggression that creates lifelong lingering trauma. This is like my own killing field. The Holocaust, the trail of tears. I'm struggling for civil rights and you're triggering me with facts. OMFG, your facts are literally killing me. The Urban Dictionary says self-care means avoiding accountability. Feel for me so I don't have to feel my fixable flaws and failings. It's bad for me to feel bad about a bad choice, even if it's all my bad. I need a coddle daddy. Someone who can afford to buy what I'm selling, help me duck and dodge better choices, perfect my position of privilege, waddle in my wasted time like a cat, making a bed of my own litter. I need a coddle mommy to help me celebrate my mediocrity. I expect all the flowers before I die, even if I haven't lived up to flower-worthy dedication, even if my performance is piss poor, it puts the petals on the pedestal. I'll even take the plastic ones. Just give me my damn participation award. How dare you expect me to use life lessons to move forward? How dare you? That poem is called Coddle Buddy. It is, I guess it's officially published now since I read it out loud on this particular venue. This poem, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. This poem was written for Child Protective Services. It was nominated for a Webby. The Webby is the internet version of the Grammys, so I'm a Webby nominated writer. I did a commercial for Austin Child Protective Services, so you can imagine what this poem is about to be about. Did I mention trigger warning? This is someone's story somewhere. This is too many stories everywhere. We be born, clean slate, building a mind manufactured in response to every touch, sound, beam of light like a pen, scribbling cursive curses in the creases of our contemplations, writing and rewriting how we think our thoughts. I think open book, published in trauma, torn pages, broken spine, unfold us and see all the happy words smeared into a muddled ink blot of pain, a decayed blackened butterfly like a raw Rorschach tested to our limits, a broken brain, bound and battered body beyond ability to inhibit the reuptake of our own serotonin. She, the cascading collision of compacted trauma, making her even more unlovable for the next set of parents assaulted, abandoned, and abused. Skull be ball, bounced on sidewalk, but bone and brick do not mix. They called her feral, an untamed tot. This is what enduring existence looks like to her. Never been hailed, but you want him to hold on to hope, and he can't even hold on to himself. I thought this was mine. Touch before their time, touch before no has the power to save their innocence, before arms have strength to crowbar their body from the grip of monster in bed, and yet their only failure is to thrive. They are not what's wrong. They're what's left when war has been waged on them by the wrong human, or when suffering sound sucking circumstances. They're surviving, so ask, what happened to you? Listen, learn, and ladder your way through their labyrinth of layers. Find out what they faced that fractured their feelings and ground glass souls back to sand. Walk their shoes and see them. See me. See us. Walk my shoes. Walk our shoes, and the other 5 stories walking through the door daily. 1 in 10 abused sexually before they can vote, but hope can still float when you are responsive to the trauma. This is someone's story somewhere. This is too many stories everywhere. Our children deserve to have their protection centered. Give them the slightest crack in concrete, refertilize their faith, water them with compassion, let their seeds see just one ray of hope, and they will bloom beautiful like the sun. So watch them roar like a dandied lion through the stones of abuse heaped, stacked an obstacle to oppress their growth. There's an amazing life waiting for them, but first, they need that handful of hope from you. A positive community committed, comfort, and helping them reconstruct their consciousness till trust is won. Then watch them flower. Then watch them fly. Whoo! Okay, I'm gonna move away from the tough stuff because I didn't really like prep for this. I just said, hey, I'll just see what moves me. And wow, I didn't mean to go there. But here's one that I think will I think this one is important regardless. And then I got one more joint after that. And then hopefully I get to talk to the beautiful, incredible Theresa Davis again. So when a toxin enters the body, first, a toxin is a poisonous substance formed in living cells or organisms. In the human race, is the human race, our community, not a living organism? Does it not breathe, grow, and reproduce after itself? Is it not an organism vulnerable to disturbance from biologically produced toxins? See, toxins are neutralized when antibodies bind with receptor cells, causing the toxin to stop moving, change its shape, or attach a flare so the body can find it and remove it from the system. Opening your ears, taking in new information from substances other than yourself, combined with empathy, mixed with positive action, can create an antibody for toxic masculinity. Exhibit A. My masculinity will hug a gay man and respect a woman who doesn't want to be touched. It respects black women and white women, Asian women and Hispanic women, and women who haven't decided what to do with their penis. My masculinity gets compliments on its womanism by feminists and ain't afraid to tell a perfect stranger his beard is perfect. My masculinity accepts rejection peacefully while crying in the arms of a really good friend because, damn it, we could have been good together. My masculinity needs to be constantly checked. So it has a built-in digitized fem friend regulated aggression meter, constantly striving to understand appropriate moments to be. My masculinity doesn't need body washes, razors, or toothpaste labeled for men to be men. Strong enough for a man and made for a woman is a marketing tool. The shit works, so I use it. My masculinity doesn't feel emasculated with more spaces created for femininity. My masculinity gets the hell out of the way. It sits in the corner and waits to be supportive. My masculinity will tell a femme presenting XY human his, her hair. I mean, if the follicles fall from a friend's face in just the right manner, you complimenting it might mean the world to him, her, they. My masculinity is still confused about gender identity, but damn it, I am trying. You could have created life-saving smile. And isn't saving people what men like to do anyway? My masculinity knows how to compliment a woman without trying to have sex with her. My masculinity probably wants to have sex with her, but is smart enough to read the social cues that she ain't trying to hear it. It knows chivalry is a form of respect and honor, and how to keep it from being creepy and condescending. My masculinity opens the door for everyone. My masculinity wants to put the toilet seat down. I, on the other hand, leave it up. My masculinity knows gentle, soft, and abusive doesn't equate to weak, fragile, or powerless. When I'm happy, when I'm afraid, when I'm hurt, or every time Schindler realized he could have saved just one more Jew, when the Muppets finally accomplished their goal, when Captain Miller died saving Private Ryan, when Sarah Jane finally came home only to realize her mother was dead in the imitation of life, when my sons make me proud, my masculinity lets me cry in public. We need to take an active role in changing the shape of masculinity or something not destructive. Stop it from spreading through this body, find it where it lives, and attach a flare to it and have it removed. So if you want to come over and talk about building some antibodies, I'll put the toilet seat down and we can flush this shit together. All right. This last joint is for the poets. It is for those who think they want to be poets or have ever been poets. But I think this poem is important for you. It can be found in my book, Black Type Poems, available at 310brownstreet.com, 310brownstreet.com. You should get that. You see, it's hardcover. Who's doing that? I'm doing that. Anyway, dear poet, as much as you make your poems about you, they never will be. They will always be about the effect they have on the hearer. Be careful, because you can make the listener the doer of your words. You are the correspondent of this community, so speak truth. And when the Father forces you to function in the favor He's fixed you in, fantastic fortune follows and falls at your feet. Speak, and a sea of similes will set sail from the shore of your tongue. The almighty mother of life will move mountains of metaphors out of your mouth in moments you don't even know you're prepared for. You will turn post-traumatic stress disorder into poems that stop death, because poets turn struggle into dreams. Realize, know that PTSD are just more letters for you to ladder your way to possibilities, transcending suicide, domestic violence, and people's toxic self-destruction. You will be able to marry Poppins' pain and truth into a spoonful of sugar. People will listen to you even when they build walls along the borders of their heart. You will open doors when you chandle your rhymes. Your writing will Harriet Tubman someone to freedom. Your mouth will Michelle Obama someone's backbone. Your experience, your vision, your art, your heart will Oprah Winfrey in front of millions. Your success will Macy Jemison out of this world. Gravity will not contain you, but you will Nikki Giovanni bind your words into books. And after you, Angela Davis, the next revolution, children will speak your name. Study your words and recite your work. Your voice will command attention. Your presence will grab the spotlight, but it will never be about you. So don't you dare dim your pen or mute your muse. For no man or woman, not the last X or the next, you are blessed. Purge your pain on page and leave it for the world to learn from your mistakes. You can't beacon in a storm if you hide your light. You don't know what reader the hurricane needs. You don't know what hurricane the reader needs to be sheltered from. Be the warning and the calm after the storm. If if life and death is in the power of the tongue, then you brilliant human, are a weaponized wordsmith with a velvet voice. If God spoke the universe into existence, then you are an architect, a construction worker, a bulldozer, a wrecking ball, a jackhammer, a glue gun, a bricklayer, a needle and thread, a gardener, a god in the earth. And you can manifest anything that you can shape with your mouth, but do not take this power lightly. The tongue is a double-edged sword, more powerful than Excalibur, the sword of omens, a blazing sword, a spear in the side of a Messiah, a fat man, a little boy, a badge and a gun, an infinity gauntlet, or any other fantastic weapon the human mind can manifest, fact or fantasy. But this be a burden. So before you dabble in this art, know that creation is God work, and true poets wield words with the weight of the universe. Now go write something. Poet, I dare you.
Nice, nice. I especially like the sipping of the power juice at the end. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I was watching your reaction in your first two pieces, and um, I'm sure as a performer, you've gotten yourself to the place. You've been in places where you start doing this thing, and then it starts hitting you in a way that you didn't expect it to hit you. And so it's
Yeah.
like dragging you in and knocking you out of the poem at the same time. It's such a confusing feeling, right?
Sometimes you forget what you wrote and you're like, oh shit. Or you write in an emotional state, then you perform the poem so many times you become numb to it, and then sometimes the emotions are re-triggered and you're like, oh shit, what did I write?
Yes, yes, I know that feeling very well. Oh my God. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. So let's talk. I want to talk more about process. Um, I know lesbians hate that word, but maybe writers hate that word as well.
Wait, what do lesbians hate about the word process?
Uh, because it usually means a really lengthy breakup that nobody wants to be a part of. Oh, you're talking
Oh,
about writers.
brothers hate that word too then. But like, damn, we broke up. Why are we still talking about it? Why are you calling me a month later asking me why? It's over.
So when you start a new collection of poetry, how do you start it? Do you see it's like sometimes when I write a poem, I might think of a line that I know this is the last line of a poem, but I
Uh-huh.
haven't written the poem yet. Or I know this is going to be a great title for a book, but I haven't written the book yet. So how do you go about that?
So this was a purposeful collection. Like,
Okay.
I wanted to, every poem that I wrote in there mentions or talks about a type of God. So every time I wrote a poem, I would put God in there, whether I was, even I have an erotic poem called Tongue Titan, and Titans were Greek gods. So that was kind of purposeful. But the rest of my poems, I didn't set out to create a collection. It was, well, damn, I just wrote a bunch of poems. It's about time for another book. Let's gather them. So I'll chapter them by category or whatever I felt about them, but not purposeful collections. The only other thing that's close to being purposeful is I have a book. I'm sorry, you probably can't hear me. I have a book called Nuclear Orange. Cupid is the devil, and I think the most I didn't that would it's four of the chapters are a collection of poems from 2 years worth of relationships. So it goes from beginning to end. So it looks purposeful, but it's not. I make some brilliant ass mistakes.
You're pretty awesome. Your mistakes are lovely. But yeah, I put on my headphones because I think there's a dance class about to break out down the hall,
Okay.
and that's going
Let's
to be
dance.
noisy. Yeah. so so when you do work, do you do workshops? Do you do poetry workshops?
Yes, I've done a few workshops. I've done workshops for middle school, high school. I've done a few for poets. Most of my workshops are either based around performances, which and not necessarily like, oh, you got to do this and all this stuff, but delivery and purposely saying your words. And I do basic workshops like how to get started writing, how to trigger yourself, or and I don't mean bad trigger, I mean like spark, and how to and like introduction to creative writing, more than just rhyming, but actually coming up with ways to write for yourself or whatever. When people walk out of my workshops, they've usually the goal is to come up with one or two really good lines, like some really dope ass stuff, and then build a poem around that.
Okay. So like you're one of my favorite poets for many, many reasons, right? Because I work with so many young
Theresa
people.
Davis, one of the greatest poets on the planet.
No, no, you stop it. You make me
I'm
blush.
serious. Your name is known far and wide. Damn legend.
Stop it. We're gonna be complimenting each other all day. So no, because I work with a lot of young people, and I know for me, a lot of the stumbles that a lot of young people have in trying to write is they don't know what to write about. Like they have
Hmm.
feelings about a lot of things, but they don't know what to write about. So I'm a big object persona head, right?
Hmm.
Um, and you are one of the best object persona writers that I have come across. And I don't even know
And
if
I
you
didn't
refer to
even
your
tell.
own work like that, right? So I tell people, like, I tell the young people sometimes, like, if you can't, like, if you want to write about a thing but you can't find your words to that, but you have feelings about that, find an object and put those feelings into it, right?
Find somebody
Find the
else's
object.
words. Yeah, that's a good way to describe that.
Find the object. So one of my favorite poems to show of yours is 16th Street Baptist Church, right?
Hmm.
Just to talk about how all these feelings about this incident that you were not directly there for, but you have a lot of feelings about, and how you could put that into this building, and then how else do you capture that feeling of what this poem is? How do I make you believe? How does he
Hmm.
make you believe that he is a church? um and what else is what else is helping to make that personification happen, right? So I mean, I always love it when and I I have friends that I show to my young people when I do poetry. So Black History Month, when your numbers start ticking up on that YouTube video, it's me.
Let's go.
um I'm showing it to everybody, right? But I love it when they get to the point where I say, how does Christopher Michael make you believe that he is a building and the type of building he is? And I always get so excited when that one kid is like, he's got that Southern Baptist preacher voice. He's got that preacher voice going. And that, you know, and that line when he says, I would if I didn't babble so much, if I didn't babble so much line, it's like, oh my God. So I just love seeing that, like, that break where it's like I'm hearing this thing that is really really smart, but I'm also getting it.
Hmm.
And it just like that. I usually kick off all of my object persona workshops with your poetry, that and Mr. Bullet. Um, but um, but yeah, because they immediately feel the freedom to be able to write about something that they have feelings about,
Hmm.
and not taking someone else's story out of their mouth, because I'm real big on don't do that. That's bad, right?
Right,
Um,
right, right.
right, right. And so I mean, part of Cops is, the tree poem that you talk about.
Mhm.
Is like I have a
Wait,
lot of
so the poem
feelings.
is actually called Cops?
Yeah, COPSE. I'm
Hmm.
clever. COPSE is a collective noun that means a small group of trees. So you know how you're driving down the highway and you see nothing, and then all of a sudden you see like trees and then nothing? That's called a copse.
Whoa!
But it also sounds like cops. What?
Oh my God, that poem is twice as brilliant as it was a second ago. Shit. Wow.
No, I mean, I sometimes I think about things really deeply.
Damn. Okay, so listen. So you can tell your kid this is how that poem came about. I was in
Okay.
the movie theater watching Selma,
Okay.
and the first 5 minutes they show the girls walking down the steps and the church blows up. I wasn't expecting that. It threw me for a loop. I'm in the movie theater with my phone, and I spent the rest of the movie typing that poem. And I was and what hit me was, what if I was trying to imagine how upset or how hurt must the church have been to be a place of protection and fail those little girls. And when I thought about that, the empathy that church became real to me, and I agonized the same way that church must have agonized. I cried all through writing the poem. I cried the first 4 or 5 times that I spit the poem. Every time I was rehearsing a line to make sure it sounded good, I was crying because I could really put myself in the shoes of these poets. And the other thing writing like that made me realize, this is how people like uh the guy who played the Joker, was it Heath Ledger?
Yes.
How
Yeah.
he, how something like that could have pushed him over the edge. If when you become a character actor and you embody something evil like that, and it's more than you can handle, because it's hard to write that way and be good at it and not embody that thing and
Yeah.
take on the emotions, and it fucks with you. There's some poems that people ask me, "Hey, do this poem." No, nope.
Yeah.
You ain't
Yeah.
paid me enough to be in that state of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's like, yes, I will. If I do that poem, I'm gonna need a spa day and some sort of lots of fluffy pillows. You need to buy all of that stuff. Yeah, I have a couple of those poems myself, and Cops was one of those for a minute. Like, um, when it's where it's like, okay, there's so much, and I'm and like the world is kind of like triggering me, and I mean I know it's an important piece, but
Mhm.
also, um, it I don't believe in like ripping myself open every time. I don't believe in that. And what's been really interesting for me in this time now, the last couple of years, is like, I mean, I've written a lot of things. I do a lot of writing workshops. I write in all my writing workshops. But the poems that I have been performing most are the poems that I wrote 10 to 15 years ago that for some reason are still relevant.
But
Um,
doesn't that, like, me and Brian Francis have a poem called George, where the boy, the it was the a 14-year-old in 1944 uh who was executed in an electric chair. And then we have another poem about the guy who went to the church and shot it up, whatever his damn name was. And I'm
yeah,
like, why are these poems still relevant? Like,
right, right,
I mean, I wrote
right,
some dope ass poems 10 years ago, but
right,
those poems were about that moment in history.
right.
They should be
Which
played out by now.
exactly, exactly. Like I think I've done what to do when a politician tries to fall into your vagina feet first. I think I've done that poem more this year than I have done. Well, this year since last April than I
Mhm.
have when the poem was in flex. When I was actually slamming.
Right.
Um,
That poem,
but
Eggs for Breakfast, that I started off with, I haven't done that poem in years. It's in a book somewhere. I ain't paid no attention to that poem. And suddenly I'm like, why the fuck are we worried about I thought we settled the issue about women's vaginas. Why are we
we
still dealing with this?
why are we still in there? Why are we still trying to get in there? Yeah, it's kind of, and I think that mood kind of overwhelms me a lot more with my writing, these days, because I sit down, because I am a social commentary writer. I write about what's
Mhm.
happening in the world, and when the same shit is happening in the world that's been happening in the world this whole time, like I'm tired of watching children murdered at their schools. I'm tired of, you know what I mean. I've already written that poem. You know what I mean? I've already written this poem. Why are we still here? You know,
Right.
um,
How many
um,
different ways can I say the same bullshit?
right. So it gets really frustrating. What are some of the tools that you use when you get frustrated like that about material or about subject? How do you pull yourself through that, or how do you change that line of thought into something else, or channel it into something else, or do you?
I cry. That's all I got. I
Yeah,
cry. And then find something else to think about.
yeah.
I don't, and I got medication.
Yeah,
I
no,
got seen at the VA for a few things, so I think they got me covered.
yeah, yeah, no,
I
it's
don't know. I probably don't have the healthiest. Actually, getting on stage and performing those pieces is therapeutic for me, because
yeah,
after a while, it is an energy, and it gets purged. So it is helpful for me.
yeah. So we have a question.
What you got?
Ange Loves 87 says, "It is it hard to find different ways to write about the same topic or issue?" Basically, what I said. And how do you both decompress from tough poems, either after writing or performing? And I think you answered some of that, but
So somebody had emailed me, and right after the school shooting, somebody said you need to write a poem about guns and bullets. I'm like, I've already written those poems, but as soon as they said it, I started writing. So here's the first couple lines, and I'm like, I don't want to write this poem. I didn't want to write this, and I said I'm not going to write this, so I started writing. They prey on our schools. Our only solution is to pray for our schools. Faith without works is dead. Domestic terrorists are putting in work. Our faith must be dead. It's not the bullets, it's the ballot. Politicians might be voted in by you, but they don't work for you. They do what they are paid to do, make laws for lobbyists who profit off you. Bald eagles and bisons get better protection than blacks and babies.
well, that's a very excellent start. And see, yeah, no, I
I
like
still
that.
don't want to write it.
No, same here, same here. And I think that for me, when I'm writing about hard stuff, and I'll do the thing where it's like my roommate Karen G is also a poet. So when if I'm writing something hard, I think the whole house can kind of feel it. And either I take all of that and go for a drive,
Hmm.
or I come to my studio and make tiny things, or make something to try to take my mind off of it. Or my favorite thing to watch to kind of like take myself out of the hard when I am writing hard is I've started watching the Hot Ones, that the the show where the host is interviewing you while you're eating progressively hotter wings,
Oh,
and
I,
and
I haven't
watching
actually
people.
watched that. I can't even stomach what I don't do
No,
well with
no,
food.
no. You have to watch it because it's hilarious. I don't worry about the food that they're eating. I just know how some certain things you can do, you put in your body, and it makes your brain starts acting like it's drunk or it's high, and that
Hmm.
extreme heat do it. So he's asking them questions, and their brains can't process. And if you want to just laugh, watch the Shaquille O'Neal and watch Idris Elba, because those are hilarious. When Idris is eating something so hot, he just like, can you fight? He's like he wants to. It's yeah. So I watch that kind of stuff just to like take my brain out of the heaviness that is the world, and I just laugh and laugh and laugh, and then I'm like, okay, now we can deal back to the real world. So yeah. So Sunny Super has a question. Where do you see spoken word as a genre heading with the dissolution of a cohesive national slam community? Yeah. Oh, is that your answer? Oh, come on.
um, Fractured. I mean, we still have. Yeah, it's fractured, and without juggernauts actually out there stomping and carrying themselves from place to place, um, we I feel like we missed the opportunity to go commercial because we were too worried about uh, the money and where it's coming from and who's sponsoring it, instead of getting an opportunity to 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 be on the grand stage, not the little stages that we put together, the national events where 300 people show up and 150 of them are the poets participating. I'm talking about true national stages, Netflix and HBO and stuff like that. We missed that opportunity because we were so worried um, about social whatever. Um, and and during that time, a bunch of artists tried to run an organization that they were ill-equipped to run. It got bigger than us and fell apart because we weren't equipped. Yeah, as an artist, I can throw a local slam together. I can promote an event locally, but that is not my wheelhouse. I'm an entertainer. I am a writer. I am a performer. There needs to be promoters, organizers, agents, lawyers, executives building the show behind us and pushing us to the front. But we didn't want none of that. So we might have missed our opportunity.
Yeah. But I
So I
think
don't know.
that,
The answer is I don't know. We
yeah.
shall see. But we need to hurry up because I'm aging out.
Hey, I just had a birthday last week. I am creeping closer to 60, folks. Get it together. Um, but yeah, so it's I think that as fractured as it is, I am actually pleased to see that some of um, the folks that we had the opportunity to be in a community with when National Poetry Slam was doing what it was doing, right? To see some of these young people finally, getting up there and actually doing business with some of these bigger corporations where they are actually getting paid what they're worth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that makes me happy. And I mean, I think that the opportunity for individuals, it kind of goes to where are you willing to go with it, right?
Mhm.
So like as older seasoned poets,
Well flavored.
well flavored, well rounded, we make those choices to do the types of work that we do, and how far we will travel to do that work, and what we will agree to and what we won't agree to. And I feel like for a lot of poets, the integrity of what they do kind of goes beyond them. Like I have a lot of work that is totally consumable on the internet, right? I have videos up that I don't. People have videos of me that I don't even know are there, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so it would be really easy for some place, something to be like, oh, yeah, let's borrow this like line. I might never know about it, but a lot of the people that I work with are like, I mean, like for instance, Planned Parenthood um, in Arizona contacted me about what to do when a politician tries to fall into your vagina feet first. You have to say the whole title.
Say it all.
Um, you have to say the whole thing. Um, and they could have done something else, but they realized my value as an artist, and they wanted to pay me to use this work, which is like it's consumable, like I said, right? Um, and I feel like that a lot of us put that face up, and so people respect it in that way. Not
Mhm.
everybody, but I think that some people do. Um, so yeah. Another question: are you at all interested in the idea of VR poetry spaces, that virtual reality?
Mhm.
The idea of poetry art spaces building online in the way you're describing?
So, yes. Um, I mean, this. I think this should count as. Um, I'm not sure if you mean completely like Oculus. We all in a room with our virtual avatars. I mean, that would be dope. I've had some. I have not enjoyed my experience with online poetry slams, but doing interviews or having open mics and stuff, yes, I'd be down for that. I could rock the VR. I got my Oculus. I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think that is something that I am definitely um, interested in, as far as the reading and the interviews, because this way I know so many people from so many places, right? And we even when we were in our uh, dysfunctional family relationship type of situation with National Poetry Slam, we always had those questions about accessibility, those questions about uh, um, um, you know availability, that kind of thing. So I do believe that virtual reality, or this kind of zoomy situation, does allow accessibility, right?
So Southern Fry did. VR, their VR National Slam a couple years ago, and it was fun. But I'm not sure if it was fun to me because it was a novelty or not, because I didn't do it the next year.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to
That was
try
when
it.
we were in the Echoverse, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
you
went
have
to that.
little avatars walking around, and it was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Um, it was a good start.
Yeah. No, I had fun doing that too, and it was great seeing how the technology kind of like allowed people to like see the screens, and it was really interesting. And
Hmm.
Southern Fried is actually happening next week, I do believe, in Louisville,
Louisville,
Kentucky. Um,
Louisville,
Louisville, Louisville.
Lou-
It's my
Louisville.
daughter. My daughter graduated from Louisville University, University of Louisville. There we go. Um, but yeah. So I mean, I feel like that some of the slam scenes are coming back a little bit now that they're in person. But I do worry about that accessibility part. Like, I have one of the longest running open mics in Atlanta and Decatur. Java Speaks, right? And actually, we have Java Speaks tonight. You should come. But I've
Let
taken
me
it
leave now.
virtual. I've taken it virtual, and it's going to stay virtual for a minute because I legit have a community of people who show up every Sunday who are from England and who are from other places on the globe, right? And I'm one of those kind of weird people. I can't create a community and then be like, oh, cool, the world opened up. Deuces. I can't do that.
So I'm doing my 310 Brown Street is this Tuesday. We have our show every fifth Tuesday. So I have every intention of streaming on TikTok, the slam.
Okay.
So we'll
Tick.
see how that works. Find me on TikTok at Mr. Michael 310, and we'll see how it works.
So how has your TikTok journey been? That's the one that I'm terrified of. I have not done it.
Man, you know what? I didn't do TikTok for a long time because I didn't want China getting a hold of my information. I got so much information that I was worried about. But then I was like, what the hell? So I started doing TikTok, and I'm having a lot of fun. I need to go viral because I'm pretty funny. But I enjoy TikTok. TikTok is crack. If you have something going on in your life where you need to focus, you got more important things to do with your life, do not get started on TikTok. Because once you do, you an hour went by and you're like, shit, I'm still here. Like, where'd
Yeah.
the clock go? So,
Yeah,
but if you're
I
gonna get on
figured
TikTok at Mr. Michael 310, find a brother, because I am quite interesting.
no, I have laughed at quite a few of your TikTok videos. I watch them on Instagram, but
Yeah.
I,
I post them
yeah,
on
I,
Instagram too. So find me on Instagram. I
yeah.
post the ones that I think are really good on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, no, I think you're very humorous. And I think that, I think you put it in a great perspective for me. It's like if you go here, you're gonna lose valuable time. Um it reminds me of The Sims. You remember when The Sims first came out?
I never messed with The Sims, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh my God. I
There's some
lost
other
two
weird
days.
names.
I lost 2 days. The first Sims game, I lost 2 days.
There was one game, I can't think of the name of it, but it's one of those where you got to build the whole world and you fighting aliens and stuff. I played it so long, my eyes dried out, so they were all bloodshot red. And every time I closed my eyes, I could see all those characters on the screen, like they were haunting me. They were burned onto the back of my iris.
Yeah. No, yeah. One day maybe. I'm pretty funny myself, but I just feel like TikTok might be a hole that I would fall into and just would not be able to fall out of.
Yeah, your haikus are quite. Here, I have a haiku for you.
Do it.
I blame the X-Man Cyclops. He's the reason him and Wolverine can't see eye to eye. That was free. You can have that for free. You can't have it. You can hear it for free.
Oh my goodness. No, thank you. That was great. You and Fun, Mr. Fun, you and Mr. Fun are my go-to funny haiku dudes. I love it. Well, I want to thank you so much for spending this hour with me, Christopher Michael. You're awesome. And folks out there listening, thank you all so much for being here. Please check out Black Type Poems. And what is it called? Demigods? Is that it?
Demigod,
Demigods?
Black Type Poems, and
Yeah.
Demigod.
And Demigod.
Yeah, 310 Brown. You got. Go ahead and put that on. Go ahead and put that link on there, Sonny. So I know Sonny in there hooking a brother up. Go ahead and put that link on
Yes,
there.
yes.
310 Brown. You
And
got
my,
Sonny
my tech
Soper,
person is good. We're
my
gonna put it all up in.
publicist, my
I'm gonna put it
manager.
all up in there. Is that your
My yeah,
manager?
Sonny Soper got everything. She hold it down.
Awesome. Very cool. I noticed this one last thing. I noticed accessibility is brought up across multiple art platforms, theater, building, and community online works through the Zoom. It's kind of like giving people an online space to be poets or whatever they practice 24 hours, 365. I think that's where stuff is headed. Didn't know about the use of tech in poetry, though. That's worth researching. Thanks. So a big thank you. Shout out.
Yes, it's Mr. Michael 310. Although I think Mr. Mike, I think they'll both pull something up, but
Yeah.
Mr. Michael 310 will get you there. At Mr. Michael 310, you'll find everything. Or you could just Google Christopher Michael Poet and I got the search engines on lock.
Yep. Hey, that's how you have to do it. Um, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me at the Power of Words author panel hosted by the Arts Exchange. We have been
Happy
talking with.
birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been so great talking to you and seeing your handsome face and all the beard fabulousness. Yes. Oh my God, it's just so manageable and fluffy. Thank you so
It
much,
takes
Christopher Michael.
I don't wake up like this.
You sure you don't wake up like that?
I don't wake up like this.
All right, my darling. I love you so much. Thank you so much for spending time with
Love you
me.
too.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and hopefully, we will see each other in person soon. So, consensual hugs can be given. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everybody.
Bye,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Thanks for coming.